Hey there, it's Tia, the homeschool mom baddie, and I'm so excited that you are here with me today. Today is a special day. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means? Transformation Tuesday. This is where we start to learn to transform our minds because nothing changes unless we change the powerhouse of everything, which is our mind. So today we're going to talk about why nothing changes until you get clear. And I'm going to talk plainly. I really want to get down to the root of it. Most of us don't feel stuck because we lack effort, right? We feel stuck because we lack clarity. And I want you to think about this for a second. Think about last week. Think about yesterday, not the chaos, not the feelings, the facts. How many decisions did you postpone? How many things stayed open ended? And how many times did you say, I'll figure it out later? That's where the pressure comes from. Today we're going to dive deep. Again, this is not motivation. I am not a most motivational speaker. I am just a mom on a mission to help other moms gain clarity, to get out of that chaos cycle of overwhelm and stress and anxiety that comes with motherhood and life and homeschooling, right? Because I'm the homeschool mom baddie. So that's where the pressure comes from, right? That's when we leave things, decisions unmade, unclear. They don't disappear. They sit in your mind and demand your attention. Over time, those open up loops and create exhaustion mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially. You get my drift? Not because you're weak, but because the human brain does not rest when things are unresolved. So then, how do we rest our brains, right? That's just simple cause and effect. Most overwhelm is not caused by too much work. It's caused by too many undecided priorities. I'm going to say that again. And if you're a note taker, take notes. Most overwhelm is not caused by too much work. It's caused by too many undecided priorities. And what does that mean? Literally, we have so many things rattling in our brain that's unresolved, unsolved, just like sitting there. What's for dinner? Did I get my daughter's clothes from the dry cleaner? Did I pick up my husband's clothes from the dry cleaner? Am I able to do this and that? It's constant, right? We're most likely to blame motivation or discipline. But those are surface explanations, right? Discipline is surface level when you think about it. The real issue is structural. If you don't decide what matters, everything matters. If everything matters, nothing feels manageable. Let's try that again, right? I think that's really good. If you don't decide what matters, everything matters. And if everything matters, nothing feels manageable. And that's such a realistic point as a homeschooling mom of six children. Everything used to matter. Everything needed my attention, everything needed my effort, my mind, my energy, everything. And that's not possible to sustain. I was on this hamster wheel going nowhere fast. And I refused to do that. I'm not doing that. I am done doing that. Not everything gets my attention. Not everything takes up my time because I've learned that without clarity, it's just chaos. And I'm done living in chaos. I kind of want my life to be a little bit more manageable and understanding why clarity is so important is why I want to talk about it today. All right. That's why productivity advice often fails most homeschool moms. It's not about learning how to manage your time. It's not about getting a scheduling app. It's not about getting a calendar. It's not about getting a super duper journal. It's not about that. Homeschooling is a lifestyle, period. If it doesn't match your life or you find yourself constantly trying to flip and circumvent things, chances are you're operating out of alignment, right? It blends learning, parenting, work, and home into one continuous environment. Without leadership, that flexibility turns into constant mental labor. And constant mental labor leads to burnout. The correction is not doing less for the sake of rest. The correction is deciding more deliberately. We need deliberate decisions. We need to be strategically intentional, right? Clarity does not mean rigid schedules. Clarity means knowing what you are saying yes to and what you are intentionally letting go of. Let that sink in for a second. Clarity means knowing what you are saying yes to and what you are intentionally letting go of. All right, once you decide what enough looks like, guilt loses its power. Once you decide what your priorities are, comparison quiets down. Once you decide what season you're in, urgency stops shouting at you. Yeah. Once you decide what enough looks like, guilt loses its power because you're clear on what enough looks like. Once you decide your priorities, comparison quiets down. You have nothing to compare it to when you know what your priorities are. Once you decide what season you're in, urgency stops shouting. That's why mindset matters before strategy. Mindset is not positive thinking. Mindset is how you interpret responsibility and make decisions. If your mindset is, I have to do everything, your life will reflect that. If your mindset is, I decide what matters, your life will begin to stabilize. That is not perfection. It's not about perfection, it's about direction. And direction always comes from clarity. That's why I always say this: you don't need more information. You need to resolve the open decisions that are draining you. One more time. You don't need more information. Stop collecting information. Drop the book. Turn off that podcast. You don't need more information. You need to resolve the open decisions that are draining you. That's why I offer the Battery Reset Clarity Call. This $31 call is not to motivate you, not to hype you up, but to show you where you can slow down the noise long enough to identify what's actually keeping you stuck and help you make the decisions you've been avoiding. Just that simple. One clear decision can change how an entire week feels. One resolved priority can lift mental weight immediately. Nothing changes until clarity enters the room. So if you're listening today and realizing that your exhaustion isn't about effort, but about indecision, that's not a failure. That's awareness. And awareness is the first step toward leadership. So if today hit, don't just scroll past. Clarity doesn't come from waiting, it comes from deciding. If you're ready to stop carrying confusion and start leading your days again, the battery reset call is where it's at. And I'm here when you're ready. Mindset Tuesday isn't about hype, it's about the truth. And the truth is, clarity always wins. If this resonated with you, put down in the chat change that you are ready to change your mindset and get ready to start focus and gaining the clarity that you need. Because listen, clarity is what's going to take you from here all the way to there. So let's gain the clarity that we're looking for. Join now the community. If you're not part of the community, what are you waiting on? Go ahead and subscribe down below. Hit the subscribe button, introduce yourself, and let me know how I can help you on your homeschooling journey. And if you're not a homeschooling mom and you're watching this video, kudos to you, because motherhood is not about homeschooling. It's about everything in between, because you don't have to be homeschooling your children to be overwhelmed, because overwhelm doesn't discriminate. Whether you have children or not, life is going to overwhelm you regardless. So welcome. I appreciate the support and the encouragement. I want you all to gain the clarity. So if you're ready to book your clarity call, the link is down below. In the meantime, I go live on this platform and other platforms daily, usually in the morning, Monday through Friday, around 8:30 EST. So join my lives and I teach in real time. I answer your questions and we connect, because in the Baddiehood, which is the name of my community, by the way, because I am the Homeschool Mom Baddie, we become aligned, disciplined, determined, intentional every day. That's what makes you a baddie. So let's unleash our inner baddie by unlearning the things that kept us stuck, and let us release the inner baddie in us, because we're all about becoming aligned, disciplined, determined, intentional every day. So I can't wait to see you. See you in the next one. And remember, book your clarity call. Link is down below. Take care and have an amazing day. And be the reason why someone smiles. Bye.